Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your December reading. I hope that you're looking forward to it just as much as I am. I find that this time of year is really nice because it provides not only a gateway between the year that's just leaving us and the year that's ahead, but this year in particular, it's also affording a chance to really create some nice firm foundations. As I've been saying, 2020 is a numerological 4 year, and that is all about setting up something bigger, stronger, and better than what you've been going through this year. In order to get everybody ready, what I've been doing is trying to help you kind of clear out any of the cobwebs that exist in your life right now. Some signs have a lot more clearing to do than others, but I'm here to help to whatever degree you need it and provide a nice roadmap so that you can make the best decisions and hit the ground running as soon as January occurs. To all of my return viewers, I'd like to welcome you back and say thank you so much for all of your support and most importantly for continuing to work on yourself over the past several years. You're the reason I show up every month, and I'm inspired by all of the progress you've made. If you're brand new, I'd like to extend an equally warm welcome and give you a quick overview of what's going on. First of all, let me introduce myself properly. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that I organize the reading is as follows. I like to separate it into 3 distinct parts, beginning with some channeled information. The channeled information occurs when I select a deck of cards, meditate, and see what comes through as far as clairvoyance, and that's what I hear, feel, and see just using my psychic skills. After that, I'll use the cards and lay out a Celtic cross to see the highs, the lows, and any of the other opportunities that are presenting themselves over the course of the month. And then I like to extend the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So as you see, this really offers a nice comprehensive overview of everything that we can really expect for the month ahead, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, I encourage you to stick around until the end. At that point, I'll try to summarize everything within a few minutes, and then at that point, I'll also provide some ways that you can give back to the channel, and this includes everything from liking and subscribing, joining me on social media, booking an appointment if you'd like, and becoming a patron, which is a way to give back through PayPal or Patreon. And if you're interested in all of this, again, I'll get into that at the end of the reading, but right now it's time to talk about the channeled message for the month ahead. This month, as I blessed the cards, began to meditate, and tuned into the energy of your sign, 2 images came to me. They are somewhat contrasting when you look at them at first, but for me, the symbols make absolute sense. The first image was that of a snail, and the snail for me actually has a beautiful connection to the 9 of Pentacles. If you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the card, you'll see a woman with a bush behind her that is filled with money, or all the pentacles. And then right in front, you'll see a little tiny snail that's hardly visible. And I always look at that and remind myself that when you achieve success, or that feeling of being able to take care of yourself, being basically independent and self-sufficient, sometimes that takes a lot of hard work. And the snail says, slow and steady wins the race. And don't take me for granted even if it takes me longer. So the snail is an indication that progress is being made even if you can't see it. And for me, the Milky Way galaxy made a lot of sense because I had a yoga teacher once that explained that there was an illusion of standing still, when in fact everything in this whole universe, not just this galaxy, but the universe as a whole, is moving. And what the teacher reminded me of was that the Earth, just the planet itself, spins on its axis. Then that spinning planet also goes around in an orbit around the sun. All of the planets within our solar system are part of one of the arms of the Milky Way, so the galaxy is actually moving around its center, a supermassive black hole. And then that galaxy is actually part of many in the local galaxy system that is moving outward towards the end of this universe. And to kind of completely blow your mind, we might even be part of a multi-universe system, a multiverse. And really, to make a long story short, what we have is movement upon movement upon movement, despite the illusion of being completely still. So what I wrote down in automatic writing is, you're making more progress than you could ever realize. And some of that is because of the mechanics of how time works, how space works, and also our perception or lack of perception about what's going on. So this is saying to start to pay attention to the little stuff. Look for that tiny snail or symbols like that in your own day-to-day life. There are indications that you're doing just fine, that you're making progress. And as we look at the cards here in just a minute, I'm going to see if we can pick up on any of those time indicators and progress indicators. But at the very least, I want you to cherish the progress you've made thus far, and also realize that you want to stay positive, affirmative, and awake and aware of future progress that's coming through. All right, let's look now at the cards and see what messages they have to say. I'm going to remain quiet as I pull out the full Celtic cross, but stick around because afterwards I'll pull up each and every card and break down all of the messages for December. Let's take a look now at your Catalyst card. The Catalyst functions as a connective thread for everything that I just pulled onto the Celtic Cross. It also is a way that you can really attach to the highest possibility or frequency of the month. This particular Catalyst is warning you about not letting other people's fears, doubts, or uncertainties kind of get into your space. We see criticism, we see other people's sort of projections around you. But what I like is there is a calm energy about you. And what this is showing is that if you can stay calm in this storm, it's just noise in the room. And this is a lesson we could all learn with what's going on sometimes, on TV or around us at the office. Sometimes it is just background noise and people chattering and not really making any progress or saying anything of value. So if there is a lot of stress around you, if there's a lot of people that are anxious, meditation is paramount this month. And this is showing how you can survive amidst all of that nonsense and be a-okay. And that's really all that's coming through with that. If some of you are dealing with any sort of depression or increased anxiety, it's also saying that you'll be able to overcome that, but you may need help if that's going on. So don't be afraid to reach out. I think that mental and physical health are the most important things that any of us can have. Because if either of those two things are not where they need to be, then it doesn't matter what your job is or how much money you have or who you're dating. You have to be healthy and happy. So protect that at all costs. That's the other message in this particular card. All right, let's go card by card and break down all the messages for the month ahead. At the center, we have a great card. I love it when the star shows up. I especially like it when it's right at the center. This is showing me that many of you are going to have opportunities to shine this month. And the star card comes through when you might be put on the spot, but I feel like you're going to be absolutely ready for that opportunity when it comes through, because guess what? We have the King of Pentacles crossing it. For me, the star card always indicates an opportunity or some sort of an event where you can kind of stand out, or just that your energy is really visible. This shows that you're ready for that opportunity to come through. You're prepared. And so I really feel like you're headed off to a great start this month. The other thing that I'd like to highlight for those of you that are perhaps single and looking for love, or even if you are happily partnered but are looking for some sort of a business partnership, these two cards show a really good personality match for you. The star card is beyond a soulmate. It's like a divine partner, a best friend that you could possibly run across. And the King of Pentacles shows a very grounded energy associated with this. And this is the kind of person you want on your team or as a partner, because they are generous, they are successful, and they're smart. And very, very kind-hearted too. So I like everything that I'm seeing about the 2 center cards. This could also indicate some attributes of your own personality that you've been working on. Again, owning that is going to be important. So some of you may be working on self-worth and self-confidence, and you're seeing, hey, you know what? I have a lot to offer. And as you start to integrate that feeling of self-worth, people see that same strength within you. The King of Pentacles on top of this also shows that this is a wonderful time to launch a business, to make some sort of a really big announcement or a splash in whatever sort of walk of life you're in. So I love the energy at the center, and I think the key kind of challenge for your sign this month is how to maintain that as the month progresses. So let's look at all of the other cards and see if that's possible. As we look at the deep past, we see a card that could present some challenges for you. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse, and really what this is indicating is that it's important for you to sort through any sort of emotional stress that could be going on. And I think that this has to do with what we're seeing here in the catalyst. So if there's been any sort of issues that have been weighing heavily on you, this could be people that you care about. This could be, again, any sort of issues of stress management or even depression. Then you definitely want to take care of that sooner than later. The good news with the Queen of Cups, however, is in and of itself, it's a great card. It shows creative input, creative energy, again, this kind-heartedness, and I feel like all of these things are positive attributes. You just want to find a way to channel any of the stress, the sadness, or any of the other emotions that could throw you off a little bit. And, you know, honestly, based on the strength of the 2 center cards, this could just be some butterflies about this opportunity. And I think we all have that at any given point in our life, especially if something comes through and we're expected to kind of lead some sort of an engagement or, you know, be a public speaker in any situation. The best of us get nervous. So just know that you have what it takes. I see that with the King of Pentacles, but there's some emotional sort of grounding that you'll have to do to prepare for the opportunities that seem to be presenting themselves. As I look at recent past, it feels like you've really been working hard on yourself, actually, on improvement and education and expanding your horizons, because we have a reverse card, but I just want to pull it in the upright so you can see it. 8 of Pentacles is often a card that I see when people are deciding to go back to school, might be learning something, reading up on a topic, or just practicing their craft. So it feels like you're approaching that. You're on your way to somehow mastering something that you really, really care about. 8 of Pentacles shows an absolute return on investment, so keep working hard and you're going to get there. From a monetary perspective, I like it as well. It shows that you have more than enough resources. So you're coming into the month in a really good space with respect to knowledge, anything that you're deciding to do to expand your skills, and also just resources in general, time, energy, and money. The crowning card shows that as the month progresses, some of that will be put to the test because we have the 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles is still a card of having enough, more than enough actually, but you have to have more decision-making skills with the 6 of Pentacles because you can't do everything that you want. So some of you may have had a period in your life where you had the ability to just sort of like relax and enjoy and kind of like immerse yourself into an activity or some sort of, again, knowledge expansion. So what I'm seeing here for some of you, especially if you're younger, this can be, you know, going to college. This can be post-graduation when you realize, okay, now I have to start paying student loans. Now I don't have as much time to kind of learn the things that I did before. And now I have a lot of people pulling at me, and you know what? It's kind of stressful. Even if you're, you know, midlife or later in life, this can still be the same thing. You've worked really hard and you've accomplished a lot, but now it seems like, why is all of that not going as far as I thought it would? So the 6 of Pentacles is good though. If I were a financial advisor, that card shows me that you have enough. It's just a matter of being picky, saying no, and choosing where you want to splurge a little bit. So I think that you've got this covered, but it's hard sometimes, right, to just put a line in the sand and say, I can't do this, or this doesn't make sense, or to ask some questions before you commit. If you do all of that, though, you're going to be okay from what I can see here. Now, although we don't see it in the illustration that I just showed you, if you look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you'll see that someone's holding scales as a part of the 6 of Pentacles. And so there's actually a lot of weighing of decisions, work-life balance, health balance, just being sort of moderate and tempering all of your energy and emotions and resources. So balance overall is going to be really, really important as well. And with that in the crowning position, just make sure that there are no extremes. And I think that's going to be a really key component to success. One place that you can find support and balance is actually in your friends. We have the Four of Wands, friends and colleagues. This is showing me that you've done a really good job of setting yourself up as someone that people want in their life. The Star card is really attractive, really appealing, and the Four of Wands shows that for those of you that are looking to partner up, again, it can be love or it can be in career. The Four of Wands shows something that can last. It's a commitment card. Sometimes it shows marriage, it can be platonic friends, or it can be best friends. But what I like about this is it's all about stability. This one also shows that there's a capability for the two of you to work on some great project or great sort of endeavor together, because we see almost like a Wheel of Fortune transposed over top of this. So don't be afraid to lean on these friends or these new connections to help you, to help bring some balance. You don't have to do this alone. So just reach out and say, hey, can you help? And they're there for you, okay? That's in the near future. So at the midpoint of the month, I think that's a really good time to start to reach out to your extended network and also seek out those kind of partnerships if you're looking to try to find someone, hire someone, or if you're looking to date, that right kind of partner will be coming through at the midpoint. Some of you are going to have a chance to fix a relationship this month or to get a second chance at doing something and accomplishing it. That might be the Star energy. If there was something where the first time you tried it, you failed, this time you actually are going to hit it out of the park, because the combination of the Star, the King of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles shows me that it's that nexus of preparation and opportunity, which is really what success is all about. And you've got it this month. So I want you to really trust in your ability and just don't let stress or nerves get in the way. You don't want to get sort of like too ambitious, too cocky, or too full of yourself. But I think that, again, we're going back to balance. I see all of the key components fitting and looking perfect. So just show up, be there, trust yourself, and it should come together in a really nice way. Actually, right across the center, Eight of Pentacles, Star, and Four of Wands. This is so nice. I mean, this is showing the work that you've done. This is showing that big opportunity coming through. This is showing cooperation and people supporting you, and then money and success on top of that. So it's good. It looks really, really solid. And this for me is a second chance that you accomplish, and it's great. For relationships or anyone with whom you're estranged, this means that you have a chance to take something that you regret and maybe have a chance to say I'm sorry, or forgive the person, or forgive yourself. There's also a chance to make or break cycles. This is very much free will. So when the Eight of Cups comes through, it's a choice, right? You don't have to go down that path anymore. And you can interpret the Eight of Cups in either way. It can be someone walking away, or it can be someone coming back. So this month, this is why I don't think you have to wait until January. And in fact, it's more effective if you start doing some of the resolutions right now. If there's something you want to foster and create, then it becomes a new habit or a new cycle. And if there's something that you want to break, then you have the energy to do that as well. As we look in the environment, what I was talking about in the crowning card comes through. We have Temperance, which is really about not going to either extreme. The card is reversed, which is telling me that people around you may not have as much balance as you do, or may be throwing you off balance a little bit. So meditation, sleep, and diet are very, very important this month so that you can stay on an even ground or an even footing despite some of the stress that might be going on. And yes, there's a lot of good things, but when I look at hopes, fears, and opportunity, we have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords comes through when you are sometimes thinking of worst case scenarios, or you're not getting enough sleep, or the stress from a relationship, from work, or the environment is getting into your thought process a little bit. If I had to pick a single Achilles heel for you this month, something that could get in the way of success, it is your stress management, your emotional sort of well-being, and how well you're taking care of yourself. The fact that this card is reversed and also exists within a place that's malleable, hope, fears, and opportunities, means that you have the opportunity to avoid getting stressed out. And because we see the Queen of Cups in the past, I think what's coming through this month is a chance for you to break that cycle of sometimes having people trigger you. And it could be someone that just comes in and says something on the wrong day at the wrong time, or you just interpret it in a way that might be a little bit more extreme than it was meant to be interpreted. What my guides are showing me really quickly is that sort of muscle memory that we have, or the reflex that we have. And I feel like I don't want you to confuse a reflex or sort of an animal instinct with actual intuition. So if you just quickly react to something, that's when you could get in trouble. So take a deep breath, really evaluate the situation, and go on intuition and also what's going to make the most sense for you. There's going to be a combination, especially if it's a work situation. You want to use your mind and then also your third eye and kind of overlap the two and think, how am I going to make this work in the best way possible? I think one of the keys to success would be simply to walk away sometimes if something gets a little crazy. Not avoid it, but with the Eight of Cups and the Fool card, this is about saying, you know what, I'm going to go grab some lunch. I'll be back afterwards and let's regroup. It's about getting some space, getting some perspective, and then coming back with that perspective and being in a calm state of mind and state of being. So if you need to ground yourself, don't be afraid to kind of ask for some time and just say, I need to sleep on this, or let me consider it, or that's a great question, but I need to do some research. How much time can I get for this? Just do something like that to buy yourself a little bit of peace and quiet, and I think then you're going to come back and be able to successfully handle anything that comes your way, okay? Because overwhelmingly, actually, these cards are really positive, and I think you have one of the brightest spreads that I've seen of anybody this month, so take advantage of that. By the way, if you wanted to do a vacation, this is a good time to plan it. With the Eight of Cups and the Fool, and also temperance in the environment, I think you'd have a nice vacation, and it could also help with decompressing and letting go of some of the stress that I'm seeing in the Nine of Swords. Now let's go ahead and expand your forecast to look at the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with your health card, which is multifaceted. I see health as not just what's going on in your body, but we talked a lot about mental stress or emotional well-being. Those are also components of this card. The message this month is about listening to yourself. It says, you already know the answer you seek, trust what you know. Cloak of wisdom is what the caption says. However, the card was reversed. So what I'm getting for some of you is that there is perhaps maybe a chronic ache or pain that's going on in your body, but you're sweeping it under the rug because you're afraid of what it might be, when actually the fear itself could be more harmful than figuring out if there actually was a problem. So I'm encouraging you to ask for help or get something looked at if you have that feeling of a chronic problem in your body. Just trust that it's better to talk to someone than to wait, because also the sooner you go, the better. If you wait, it could actually get worse if there is something. So I'm not necessarily seeing any problems here. When I look at the environment, which would be attached to your health, we have temperance. So I feel like you can manage whatever this is, but avoiding a situation or an energy is never a good approach because it tends to allow that to grow. And that's what I'm really seeing here is fear. We don't want to let fear creep in, especially if it's about just having your annual physical. So take care of yourself. Remember, mind, body is really important for the spiritual component, because without those two things, the spirit can't come through. So there you go. One final message that I'm receiving is to listen to your intuitive downloads. And these can come in any way, shape, or form. It might be a dream. It could be something that you hear in your ear. It could be something that you feel in your body. However you receive information, this month you're going to be getting some of that in relationships, in business, in day-to-day life. So I want you to listen to that. That's going to guide you. And every time that I've ignored my own intuitive downloads, I've definitely regretted that. And I've had things happen before where I've stepped into an office and I think, I shouldn't work here. I work there and then I regret it. Or I meet someone and I think they're going to be trouble, and lo and behold, they create a lot of tension in my life. So now I'm really attentive to something that I pick up on. Even if it's a first meeting or if someone says something and it kind of sticks in my head, I think, I need to pay attention to that. So the sooner you observe that, the better this month. It can help you avoid some of the stress that we saw potentially in the Nine of Swords. This is avoidable. Let's move along now to your wealth card. And for me, wealth is also multifaceted. It's not just what's going on with your job or your money situation. We kind of talked about both of those, but it's also how you feel and how that either pushes things away or brings them closer. It feels like some of you are on a path where you're ready to let go. And that actually goes hand in hand with the Fool, but this is a very gentle release. So some of you might be at a point in your career or even just in a project or relationship where you think, I think I've learned what I needed to from this and I'm ready for something different. So as you're looking at the energy of 2020, start to explore what's next. What's next in your education, in business? What are you trying to do next in a relationship if it's long term? Or what are you looking for just for fulfillment? It feels like some of you need some freedom and maybe even just like a sabbatical or some time off to explore. And this is something I didn't realize until I quit my corporate job a few years back. And I've been talking about it to different signs because I'm approaching the 5-year anniversary in January. When I first quit, I think I needed about 2 months to just decompress because I had spent 15 years going from job to job and almost 10 years at one job working, really, really hard. And I lost who I was in the process. And this happens whether you are sometimes a caretaker looking after a sick parent or a sick mate, or you are a parent and you put all of your energy into raising a child, or you work for a long amount of time and you sort of just become, a cog in a wheel at a corporation and you think, who am I again? What happened? Where's my energy? So I encourage you to, you don't need to take a full-on sabbatical, but start to pull back a little bit. You know what these 6 of Pentacles can be? When we're looking at a job, it's about not giving 110 or 115%. You can clock in at 85 and be A-okay. So I think one thing that you need to start to do is to reserve some energy for yourself and start to think about, what do I need in my life to be happy? Because happiness also equates to productivity. And no employer or no partner or no situation in your life should hold full dominion or power over you. So this month, you're going to look at your life and kind of put it in a pie chart and think, all right, this much for work, this much for play, this much for relationships. I'm going to try to get a nice balanced plate in front of me so that no part of this is kind of overloaded or tugging me too much. So that could also be it, just being a little bit more playful and a little less committed to everything. Because once you allow for that relaxation to set in, then something new may pop up. And that's the star energy's there. You might get an inspiration this month and think, oh my gosh, this is what I should be doing. So pull back a little bit, give a little bit less to everything, and see where your heart and your soul and your energy wants to take you. Some of you might also just need to have a good cry or talk to somebody. There's a little bit of pent-up stress that I'm seeing. So if it's at work, then you need to talk to somebody. If it's too much stress on your plate, one thing that I learned after, again, over a decade and a half of working in different corporations was they will give you as much as you're willing to take. And my second boss that I had told me to stop doing so much, actually. And her advice was sound. I realized years and years later that I'm so grateful she told me that. At the time, we needed to have another person working in the office, but I'm the kind of person that I would come early and stay late. And she said, please stop. We need to miss some deadlines so I can hire someone else. And I never thought of it from that perspective. I just thought if I just keep working, I need my job. And if I keep working, maybe it'll all get done or, whatever. I wasn't thinking of it from the perspective of she needed to justify another headcount. So if you're stressed out, delegate or ask for help or just let your boss know, I'm going to get this done, but not this. So you might need to find someone else to help with that, or we need to prioritize or figure out why there's so much on my plate right now. So anyway, you have more power than you realize, and even missing a deadline or disappointing someone could actually help the overall system, especially if it's a corporation. They need to see stuff like that. So food for thought. Let's move along now to the message in love. Love is not only romantic relationships in your life, but also how prepared you are for that, and also what kind of energy you're investing or kind of attracting. And we have a card here that's telling you to take a step back. It says view from above. The card was reversed, but I'm going to pull it up right so we can read it. It said get the big picture. So don't jump into anything too quickly. And I actually really like that because the Four of Wands is a card of really getting to know somebody. And there's a courtship to that. It's very old-fashioned. It's very traditional. So I think that if you do meet someone this month and they're the right kind of person, for those of you that are single and looking, this is absolutely okay for you to just take it nice, slow, and easy. We see that with the Temperance card as well. The slower, the better, I actually think. And I think what's important for you is that space, time and space. So your ideal partner may have a little bit of an independent energy to it, or you may, because I see that the time spent apart actually makes the relationship a little bit stronger. So think about that if that's something that you're looking for. If you're in an existing relationship, if you're married, if you're partnered, the view from above is making sure that you understand what's going on in your partner's life too, because I can see the stress happening with you. I can see that, you might even just feel like, I need to walk away, you're driving me crazy. What this is also saying is take a deep breath, do some active listening, find out why they might have triggered you, and you might be surprised that there may be a lot more going on in their life than they're letting you know. So this is about slowing down, stepping back, and not hopping into anything too quickly. So if you're single and looking, and you do meet what feels like it is a soulmate, all of a sudden your heart is kind of going crazy and you think, I'm going to marry this person. I'm just saying slow down a little bit, take it one step at a time, one day at a time. When you're single and happy, what I'm still seeing here with this is if you're going to hire someone or partner with someone, make sure you understand what their intentions and needs are, because you're going to have a couple goes around at maybe finalizing a contract. It's not going to all happen at once. So it's important to really make sure that there's no assumptions made, okay? So relationships are by and large pretty good, but you don't want to do anything too quickly, and you don't want to jump to any conclusion without having all the information. As I look at your Destiny card, I think this has to do with your emotions this month. Going back to the potential Achilles tendon or Achilles heel this month, which is just your weak spot. With the deep freeze here in the reverse, it's showing that something that you had under control could come through again, and this can be like a temper or a tendency to want to just cut people out. Try not to do that this month. Try to stay as moderate as possible. If someone's doing that to you, then I actually think it's better just to move on. Don't put too much energy into that agitation that they might be trying to kind of, I think, elicit a reaction from you. So there's some people that know how to get under your skin, and they're either trying to purposely give you the cold shoulder, or they're trying to be cruel with the way that they speak to see if they can trigger you. If that exists, ignore it. If you're feeling a sense of just sort of like all of a sudden you tense up when you're around someone, or a situation gets the better of you, this is just saying, relax, it's okay. You need to sort of thaw that out a little bit. So emotions should stay in check this month. That's the one thing you want to be mindful of. It's the only big red flag that I'm seeing. So I don't know for those of you if it's an environmental stress, if it's a sort of trigger that you just have internally, or if there's something else going on from an emotional or energetic standpoint. But whatever it is for you, you want to take time to sort that out so that you can be successful and really enjoy this wonderful star and King of Pentacles energy at the center. I want you to be successful and happy, and I think you can be, and I think that this is avoidable. So let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with your closing message. So the channeled message this month was that you're making more progress than you realize. And as I looked at the center, I actually see a ton of progress. So if it hasn't happened yet, it's around the corner. There's a lot of really wonderful cards that portend success. So just be patient and allow this to come through. When we looked at your catalyst, there is a warning here to really keep emotions in check, to meditate, and to not let other people get under your skin. We saw the star at the center, which is showing that as long as you're authentic, working your passion, being who you are, that's actually going to be really where your power is. So know that you're in a place right now where people want to be around you, and you have a great opportunity to make a splash. It's interesting that this card actually shows a mermaid. So quite literally in the illustration, make a splash, but kind of figuratively in your life. We have a card of success, and ultimately they're all success cards at the center here. So 8 of Pentacles, Star, and the 4 of Wands, and they're all touching the King of Pentacles. So success across the board. Queen of Cups in reverse, keeping emotions in check, dealing with any sadness, making sure that if you need to grieve for a loss or something like that, that you're taking time to do so. I talked about this interesting kind of interplay between the 8 of Pentacles and 6 of Pentacles. For some of you, it's just a matter of giving a little less. I realized that as I did the deeper forecast. So if you've been putting in 110%, give a lot less so that you're able to take care of yourself. It might be something like a 60-40 sort of split, 60% to that thing that you've been giving is too much before, 40% to yourself, or the reverse if you're feeling tapped out. This month, you're going to have a lot of support, so even if you do need to make a difficult decision or ask for help or delegate, it does look like you've got that right there. If you're looking for love, I love all of these cards at the center. It's showing me that you could actually meet someone through work or through school, and it's a good partnership here because of the Star and the Four of Wands. The other thing here with respect to even just business partnerships, the Star and the King of Pentacles shows a really qualified individual. So I feel like you've got some great opportunities in that area. Eight of Cups and the Fool showing that travel, distance, time away is actually going to help. Just don't be too isolated as we saw with the deep freeze, and I think you're going to be okay. The Eight of Cups is making and breaking cycles, so choose what you want to continue or to create. Choose what you want to walk away from. It's all up to you this month. Temperance in the environment, reversed, showing that you really want to try to keep your even footing even if people are trying to trigger your emotions. Your stress this month is something that you really want to be mindful of. I do believe that you can manage it by pushing back a little bit. And the Fool card is saying have some fun, have a sense of humor if you can. Try to laugh at yourself if you can as well. That's going to be essential at kind of like stress relief in your life. In health, follow your instincts and your intuition with your body. For some of you, you know that you have to take care of something. Don't be afraid of learning whatever that is. In fact, information is the one thing that can help alleviate fear and anxiety, which is what we see with the Nine of Swords. Some of you are ready to walk away from a work situation or you need something more. Same thing with the relationship. The Release card is saying let go of one thing to allow something else to come in. And I see some beautiful stuff that wants to come in, so don't be afraid of that. When we look at love, just make sure that you get all the information. So whether it's a partnership at work, a new partner in your life, or an existing partner, this is telling me you don't have the full story, so take some time to take care of yourself and sort out your emotions, and then practice some good active listening with your partner. For the Deep Freeze card, I feel like some of you have a person in your life that has that icy personality. Don't pay them much mind. I feel like they're used to using that as a way of getting people to kind of do what they want. It can be a manipulative energy. So if that's the case, you're better off without it. If you feel like you want to put the freeze on someone this month, be careful as well, because that can be difficult to overcome and people tend to sort of get angry when you treat them that way. So whatever end of the deep freeze you're on, that's not a great energy. You want to avoid it. The fact that this is reversed shows me that there's going to be some activity in your life. If it was a quiet November, December and January are going to pick up. So even in the winter months, there's a lot going on. Again, just make sure that you're ready for the opportunities and that you don't kind of get in your own way, because otherwise those center cards are fantastic, and I really do look forward to hearing how they pan out for many of you. So this brings your monthly reading to a close. I hope that you got all of the insight that you need to embrace all of the opportunities and deal with any of the challenges. If you'd ever like to reach out and talk a little bit about something that we discussed in the reading today, or perhaps something else that you're trying to make a decision over, feel free to do so. You can look at my rates and availability by clicking on the first card or the first link. And if it makes sense, feel free to schedule an appointment with me, and I look forward to talking to you. Another way that you can say thank you and give back, as I was saying at the beginning, is to become a patron. Clicking on the second card or the second link will kind of walk you through that process. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do something like a one-time donation through PayPal. You can join me on Patreon. You can also click the join button here. So check out that link if you're interested. This doesn't just help me buy cards, it also helps me set up the time that I need to produce this and also keep the equipment up to date. So I just want to say thank you for everybody that has contributed in the past. Your generosity is the reason I'm here today and the reason that you got this message. So thank you so much. For those of you that just want to give back in a more subtle way, or if you've already done that in the past and you just want to say thanks again, if you haven't already liked and subscribed this video, please do that now, and then join me on social media as well. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter. And I'd love for you to share what you see here on your social media networks. So once you followed me there, you can retweet or reshare whatever I've put on my respective walls or different feeds. And I appreciate that, not only because it helps people discover the channel, but because it also helps me on some of my personal and planetary goals. I'm trying to bring spirituality and metaphysics to the mainstream and kind of normalize discussions about it so people don't think that it's way out there. It's something normal that we all experience. So when you help share this on your social media feed, people find this and they can find that sense of community that I'm hoping to create. I also want to inspire people to do similar things in their life. We need more light workers out there. So when you share this and when you kind of advocate for this kind of content, it means a lot. It helps me out. It helps other people out. So it's win-win. Thank you so much again for doing that. Now let's leave you with your closing message for this month. I think the main thing that I see as something that you want to focus on is how you feel. And as I'm talking about this, I'm getting a little bit of a solar plexus activation. I've been feeling that with a few signs this month. So that's about power and self-worth. So if there's something from the past that's making you feel less than, or if there's an individual in the past that you still feel this connection to and you need to heal it, that's the big energy that's coming through this month. Let go of these ghosts from the past. They don't need to be around you anymore. And what I see in the future is a sense of freedom, playfulness, maybe laughing a little bit more, but you have to get through some of that energy first. There's so much to celebrate this month with Eight of Pentacles, Star, Four of Wands, and King of Pentacles. So I really want you to be able to embrace those opportunities. So whatever it is that's causing a little bit of doubt or a little bit of stress this month, the sooner you acknowledge and work on that, the better you'll be. And to the whole point of this video, when I kind of started it at the beginning, this is what you need to resolve so that 2020 is as effective and productive and beautiful as possible. All right, so that is your reading for this month. Again, thank you so much. I look forward to trying some new things out with the January readings. I think I posted that already, so many of you have seen that. We'll talk more about that as I get closer to it. But in the meantime, I just want to say, wishing you love, wishing you light, and all the best in this holiday season. Have a great New Year if I don't see you before then, and thanks again.